Hey, this is Coach Mac, playfastfootball.blogspot.com, and today we're going to be talking about a little dime package 3-4 slant and angle. For years, I used to be a 3-4 guy, and I would run some slant and angle stuff, and I would always rotate down and play 3 deep. Okay, so I would get the standard 3-4 Okie front. We would send the front one direction. We would send an outside linebacker with the front, and then we would roll down to safety, and then we would spin the other side, and we'd roll down and play 3 deep coverage. It gave us good movement up front. All right, from the Okie front, it gave us some movement like the old-fashioned Michigan slant angle defense. Gave us some movement. You didn't know which side was going to come. We rolled down and we played 3 deep. Well, one of the problems with that is I'm not the biggest fan of playing cover 3. I've never really liked cover 3 as a defensive coach. I always liked it as a receiver when I was playing in college. I always liked playing against cover 3, and I always liked it as an offensive coordinator because I just felt like cover 3 didn't always do the greatest job of covering a lot of things. One of the other reasons I really didn't like it was it got me out of my quarters coverage concept principle. So if we ever played a 2-back team, they were getting me out of quarters and into cover 3 when I wanted to slant and angle and move from one side to the other. So what I had to do was try and determine, once we made the switch to the 4-2-5, I wanted to keep an odd 3-4 package in, not only for some blitzing and some movements, but to protect my even 4-2-5 front. Sometimes people can say the 4-2-5 is static. All right, in other words, they know where you're going to be. They can block it real easy. Every coach can draw up an even front and block all his plays to an even front. The 3-4, all right, gives you a little bit more of a hybrid look where you can bring from both sides. You can slant and angle. You can blitz or zone pressure. It gives you a little bit of a mystery with head up or odd fronts and 2 outside linebackers to each side that can drop or rush the passer. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a way, with the evolution of the spread game and all these 2x2, 3x1 and empty sets, I wanted to be able to find a way where I could create a 3-4 slant and angle package while playing all my base quarter half principles that I teach to my kids from day one. So one of the ways that I came up with to do that was to insert and sub another safety in for my nose guard and make this a 3-2-6 dime package. Okay, so what I would do, all right, is I would take my nose guard out. I would put the tackle head up. I would put my rush end down at the 5 technique. I would then take my right safety and I would put him down, and I would add the 6 DB, who we call the dime player, and I would add him into the secondary. Now for me, when I go with my 3-4 package, I never ever change sides. Regardless of the formation, regardless of what hash the ball is on, we are always going to line up end to the left, tackle over the center, rush to the right. Mike inside backer on the left, left safety, down safety on the left, Will inside backer on the right, right safety, down safety on the right, left corner, free safety, dime, right corner. What that gives me the ability to do is now, whichever way I want to send the front, I'm always going to have the down safeties and back safeties in position to play all my versions of coverage. So I can now play 2 read or palms or blue at any time. I can play my trips coverage, which is an X-out special coverage, which is my standard, at any time. I could play quarters to the front side. I could play whatever I want because I essentially have 2 free safeties in the game and 2 down safeties in the game. Okay, so by doing this, it gave me the advantage to slant and angle and move the front while also playing every version of base coverage without having to go to 3 deep and without having to change my coverage schemes or teach new coverages. What it took away from me, though, was the ability to slant boundary, slant field, slant running back, slant tight, slant split, and all those different calls that when I was rotating the 3 deep, I could slant whichever way I wanted to and just rotate the coverage behind it. So I lost the ability to kind of declare where I wanted to slant, and I'm almost in general now slanting by formation to match the coverage behind it. Okay, but you got to remember this is a wrinkle for us Okay, it's a package that I use to protect my 4-2-5 package. So this is not an every down defense. This is a defense that I'm going to use against spread teams. I'm going to use against shotgun 2x2, 2x1, 3x1 empty teams. And what it is, it's a change up to give them another front with more movement to block to get us out of the static 4-2-5, okay, and to give them one more thing to prepare for. What it does for me is it lets me play all my base defensive concepts so I don't have to prepare anything new for my kids. We're going to treat it all the same way, okay? So how are we going to do it? Our standard general rule is we're always going to bring the down safety from the side with the least amount of receivers, okay? So if you started off in a 2x1 set, 2 back, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to bring the safety from the side with the least amount of receivers, and then we're going to set our coverage behind that. So if you gave us a 2x1 set, what we would do is we would bring the safety from the single receiver side, which right now is the right safety. Okay? So what we're going to do is this right safety is going to make a lucky call and send this defensive line to the left, and this right safety is going to add himself into pressure now. Okay? To this side, to the single receiver, my dime and right corner are going to play all their standard base rules. They know that they have, okay, a single receiver. So we are either going to roll down and play sky coverage here with the corner off the half, okay, because that's how we play a single receiver. We bracket it on that side with the sky coverage. Or I could just as easily roll the corner down and put the dime back and play hard or cloud support to that side. That's our standard generic single receiver side defense anyways. So there's nothing new there. So that side is going to play their rules off of a single receiver. So now I've got movement up front. All right, I've sent the front one way. I'm bringing an outside backer down safety with it. All right, and now I'm playing my same single side coverage rules. So nothing has been new or taught new to the secondary. Now, as you can see, once we do this, we are back in our standard even front. Okay? He becomes the 5. He becomes the 3. He becomes the 1. He becomes the 5. You now have your A-gap Willie linebacker, your B-gap Mike linebacker. Now, the linebackers' gaps change a little bit because normally the Mike is with the 3 and the 5. But all the inside linebackers have to understand is the gap that's open to their side so that they can determine how to fit the running game off of the open gap. So both inside linebackers have to know how to play off an open A gap and an open B gap. Okay? So that would be a 2x1 scenario. Send, all right, receiver from the least amount of receiver side. Send the down safety from the least amount of receiver side. So from the single side, we're going to bring it with a lucky call, sending them to the left. And now on this side, we're in position to play our normal 2-read or palms concept, or some of you may know it as a blue concept. Okay? So on this side, we're going to be 2-read, palms, blue. On this side, we're going to be sky or cloud or hard. We're going to be bracket. So we're going to be split field, quarter, quarter, half concepts with defensive line movement. Okay? Now, if you were to get 3x1, all right, if you were to get 3x1, it's going to be very simple. You're going to send the front from the side of the single receiver. So let's say the single's over here and the 3 receiver side is there. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to have the tackle, the end, and the rush. We're going to have our left safety, our Mike linebacker, our Will linebacker, okay? And now our right safety, who's down here, is going to get in position to play to the trips, okay? We're going to have our right corner there. We're going to have our dime here, free safety, left corner. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a Ringo call, and we're going to come from the side with the least amount of receivers. So we're going to come from the single, so we're going to send the front one direction, and we're going to bring this left safety with it. Single receiver side, we are going to play hard or cloud, and we're going to play sky. Okay? So we can either drop him down and put the safety to the half, or at any given time, we can take the safety down and play the corner on the half. What I would do in general, anytime you're in the middle of the field or to the wide side, I drop the safety. Anytime you're into the boundary, I push the corner down. Okay, that's just a standard rule of thumb for us. Okay, now because we have trips to this side, because I have an extra safety in, I now have a down safety and a back safety, I can play all my 3x1 coverages. So what I'm going to do to this side now, just in general, I'm going to play special, okay, special coverage, we call it mix. I'm going to take my corner and play a man-to-man on that number 1. I'm going to take my right safety and I'm going to play him about 7x1 off of 2. I'm going to take my free safety, all right, he's going to be 7x1 outside of 2. My free safety is going to be about 9x1 inside. It's my dime on this side, I'm sorry, not my free safety. He's my dime who acts as an extra free safety. He's going to be 9x1 inside of 3. And now these two are going to play 2 read off of the number 2 and a number 3 receiver. I'm going to take my linebackers, because we have a drop down week, I'm going to push my linebackers to the 3 receiver side. Okay? And now my Mike linebacker, okay, my Mike linebacker here, all right, to this side, the Mike linebacker can now be, all right, an A gap fit or a B gap fit. All right, my Will can now get over the top of runs quicker to that side. If you were to get speed option outside zone, he can get over the top quicker, all right, because he's bumped. My drop down safety now becomes a cutback fall in guy. So if you got run that way and the Mike ran fast, he could cut back, fall in. If he got runs his way, the free safety now, because this safety's coming with it, this free safety now can be the force player on runs back at him. So now I'm in my general standard special, what we call mix, to 3x1. I'm playing special mix coverage here to 3x1. Manned up, X out on number 1, 2 read on number 2 and 3, bracket to the backside single, okay, bracket to the backside single here, okay, and linebackers bump to the trips, so now that we can help trip side runs, because we're a little bit weak in run support to the special coverage, all right, we could bump that way, all right, and handle the run game with the Will bumped over. If you were a solo team or a team that liked to play, all right, you like to play solo coverage for your 3x1 stuff, all right, very simply, you could do the same thing, all right, you got your left safety there, your left corner, your free safety here, all right, your free safety is going to have to bump over a little bit, okay, now you have your right safety, leave him in between 2 and 3, keep your dime over the top of 2, keep your right corner on your normal alignment. These guys will play normal 2 read now on 1 and 2. Okay, so they will play 2 read on 1 and 2 off of the 2 receiver. All right, your right safety now plays his normal 2 read. He's a curl flat dropper. He is a swing deep. All right, your right safety now swing deep of number 3. That is generic 2 read, palms, blue coverage for those 3 players. Your free safety now becomes the vertical of number 3 player. Your will linebacker becomes a hook to curl short wall of 3. Okay? And now on the backside, you are now man with your corner. Okay? And now your Mike linebacker to the single is man on the running back if he releases to the weak side. So if you're a solo concept with how you chose to stress or trap the backside with your free safety on 3 vertical, you could do the same thing. Send the front from the single side, okay, away from the single, safety from the single comes, and now you can play all your 3x1 coverages that way. Okay? So there you got 3x1, you could play it with special, you could play it with solo. As long as you bring that safety from the single, you're in good shape. Okay? Now for us, 2x2, I'm just going to show you how we do it simply because of how it lines up to formation. All right, if we were to get a 2x2 set, you're going to say, well, Coach, how can you determine where the least amount of receivers are in a set that's balanced? What we do is we always bring the safety from the side that the will is on, and the reason for that is the will linebacker is used to apexing and removing himself in 2x2 situations. So in our standard base 4-2-5 defense, the will linebacker has to be able to apex himself and remove. So if we get 2x2, we're going to send the right safety always in a 2x2 set. We're going to make a lucky call, okay, and we're going to send the front that direction, and we're going to bring the right safety with it. What that allows us to do is put our Mike and our Will in situations they're used to being in. The Mike can get stacked, the Willie can hip an apex to be able to play his assignments on the backside or the away side of 2x2, okay? If you were a team that likes to lock it and play man, you could leave the Mike and the Willie where they belong, and you could go ahead and just play man, lock on the backside, okay? I choose to play 2 reed or palms or blue on the backside, so I'm going to bump the Mike to a stack position. I'm going to apex the Willie out a little bit, so now that I'm going to be in position to play 2 reed here, and I'm going to be in position to play 2 reed on this side, okay? So I'm 2 reed on both sides if you get 2x2. I always send the right safety in 2x2 simply because that's where my Will linebacker is and he's used to apexing out. That fits my defense, it fits my structure, okay? That's the way I like to do it or I choose to do it. For me, it works out. All right, you got to be able to understand you can do whatever you want to do in your defense, just make sure it fits for you. That fits for me and it fits our rules, okay? Now, if you're going to be playing spread teams, you got to be able to handle empty now. All right, well, this is very simple. Empty for us is going to have a situation where there's going to be a least amount of receiver side. So if they're empty 3x2, okay, if they're empty 3x2 and we go tackle and rush, Mike, Will, left safety, right corner, dime, free safety, left corner. Okay, so now they're empty. 3x2, so this side has the least amount of receivers. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a Ringo call. We're going to send the front right. We're going to take this down safety and bring him. Okay? Because we have a down safety and another dime free safety, we're going to play our normal trip side coverages. Okay? So we're going to play the right corner here, man. We're going to play the right safety and the dime 2 read off of number 2 and number 3. Okay? Will linebacker is going to remove a little bit to help, all right, to the 3 receiver side. He doesn't have to remove as much because there aren't as many outside runs he can get without a tailback in there. So he can hug the box a little bit to help on quarterback draws and quarterback runs. Your Mike linebacker is going to have to remove a little bit to help play on the 2 read side. So this is 2 read here, special here. Okay? Special coverage here, 2 read coverage here. Bringing the front one way, all right, sending the front and getting movement there, bringing the safety with it off the edge to create a little bit of confusion. Standard coverage, 2 read here, standard coverage, special there. Okay? If you're playing a lot of empty teams with quarterback runs, one thing to look at is you may want to have empty checks. Okay? I'm trying to give you what is a very simple dime package slant angle defense that you could play to any formation the same way you play your base coverages. All right, and if we got empty, we wouldn't panic. We would just play what our rules say. Okay, now maybe that's not the best scenario on empty. Maybe quarterback runs might rip you for a bunch. That's something game plan-wise you'd have to look at. But if you wanted to put in a 3-4 slant angle package from a 4-2-5 concept with split field quarter, half coverages, this is one of the ways you can do it. You dictate it where you're going to slant from the formation, but you're playing your standard coverages behind it. So I'll sacrifice not being able to slant boundary, slant field, slant tight, slant split, so that I can play quarter, half coverages behind it. And once my coverages are taught to my kids, that goes in one day. All we got to teach is which safety's coming and which side the line's moving. Gets us right back into 6-man boxes, gets us right back into one-gap football, right where we want to be in our comfort zone. All right, I hope that helps you out, create a little bit more dynamic look for your 4-2-5 defense. All right, now always keep in mind, won't play well if you don't play fast.